Brooksy, what you doing? Come here, buddy. You want to be in the video. Do you want to be on the video? So why not, Mama? Why not? Yeah, you have PTSD too.
They make excellent support animals.
Yes, they do, but... Hi, this is Michelle with Right Next Door Designs, located at 9940 Woodlands Parkway in the Woodlands, Texas. And today we're coming to you live from our parking lot, about to go in the store, but we had to show you this fabulous Jeep that my friend Krista B, who's going to talk all about her organization and her passion with Battle to Be. We'll do that a little bit more inside, but tell us about your Jeep, because I met you in the Jeep group, and when I met her, this was stock, meaning for non-Jeep people, none of this cool stuff was on it. It had been driven off the parking lot from the dealership, and look at what you've done. It's phenomenal. What's your purpose of your Jeep?
So this is Phoenix, and her job is completely to carry the names of fallen heroes and to attend memorials and hold space for those who do not get honored and remembered because the way that they died is not necessarily considered honorable by their departments. So we carry the names of our suicides and we hold space for those families at memorial projects.
Yes. Awesome. All right, let's go inside and we'll tell you all about her organization. So we have made it back inside, away from our Jeeps, which kind of makes us sad because we'd rather be outside Jeeping right now. But we are here to talk about a very, very important organization and the work that Krista's doing with Battle to Be. So I'm going to let you describe it and explain what you do and why you're so passionate about it.
Battle to Be is a brand new 501c3 nonprofit organization. We are located in Conroe, Texas, and we serve those who serve country and community, and we do that in multiple different ways. So we are attacking PTSD head on from prevention, resilience, and recovery, and we have the project that you guys will probably like the best, the Ferryman Project.
Yes.
And that is the project that our Jeep is about. And there are, every day we have fallen officers, we have firefighters, we have EMTs, we have flight nurses, and our military. And all of these fallen are announced once or twice in the media, and then we just forget. We forget that every single day they serve, every single day they get up and they face death, and they face fear, and they face rage and hatred. And we need to remember every single sacrifice over and over and over again. So our organization has a memorial on our website that every single day at 10:42 a.m. brings up a story and a face of a fallen hero. Their names are on the hood of our Jeep, and it's seen at events all across the country.
Right.
And we take plaques. We have one with us. We create plaques for families of the fallen so that they have an opportunity to be honored and respected and remembered. And oftentimes the families that we go see didn't get to be present at an honor parade or at an honorary funeral because many of those families we serve, their individuals died by suicide or as a result of off-duty death. So for us, the light of their service is not diminished by their cause of death, so we make sure that everyone is honored. And we deliver every single one of these by hand, no matter where they are across the country. And we take time to listen to their story of their life and of their impact, and to make that connection with their families so that they have that human touch and to fill that gap between our first responders and our military and the communities that they serve.
So what's the significance of the 1042 going off every day?
1042 is the last call.
Okay.
It's the code that will go out over the CB
Okay.
when at the funeral.
Okay.
So it's their signing off.
Okay. So I met Krista through our Jeep community. I mentioned that in the intro when we were out in front of our Jeeps. And when I first met you, you were dealing with human trafficking. And so then that had evolved into your passion now, which is helping veterans and first responders that are suffering from PTSD and or ending their lives. And why is this such a passion to you? Do you have family members? Do you have just community people that you knew? I mean, I know the Jeep community, we're huge into supporting our veterans. It's the cause that I've personally taken on as well. I can honestly say I don't put the time and attention into it that you do as a full-time job. I still have to do some interior design jobs, at least for now, and run a store. But I love your passion, and that's why I wanted to make sure that I sponsored you and the work that you're doing. So where did this drive come from?
My work in human trafficking was contract investigations. So in that role, I was a support system working on the backside of operations that went in and pulled children, teens, women out of servitude. And there was a particular event in Seattle, and there was a number of people involved, a number of organizations, and it went sideways, and the kids didn't make it out. And after everything was said and done, one of our officers committed suicide in the parking lot. And something about that moment, it made me realize that our children, our teens, our women that we were pulling out, all the time and investment we were making to save them, there was always a place for them to go. There were resources, there was mental help, there was financial help. Everyone knew that they were going to need something afterwards. But after things like that, our officers just went home. And it was never okay for them to say, I'm hurting. It was never okay for them to say, this was a really hard night, or that I need to talk about this. That just wasn't done. You pat each other on the back, you say, job well done, and you walk out the door. So it just snapped for me into place that somebody needed to be there for them. Somebody needed to change the system so that there was support for them, and just shatter this stigma that we have to be warriors every moment,
Right.
and that we're not human. It has to change.
Right. So I love that story. It gives me chill bumps every time I hear it. But why don't you talk about now your new work with the children as well? Because this is an area that is pretty new, right? The work that you're doing, the certifications you're getting, and all of that. But I love that you're looking to break the cycle, because there's only so much organizations can do to support and help people on the back end, right? And hopefully not be there too late. But the work that you're now looking to do on the front end, especially coming off of our most recent Texas shootings in Uvalde. So pray for you, pray for your families. But talk about that work that you're doing with children, because I think that's really important as well.
So right now, I'm a volunteer with Montgomery County Search and Rescue. And in that role, I also am FEMA certified and trauma first aid and psychiatric care after traumatic critical incident. So I respond to events, to shootings, to natural disasters. And we have programs and systems in place for afterwards that are just scientifically accepted to be valid. But all of those programs are based on just basic skill sets. They're based on coping and resiliency and knowing how to overcome the challenges of life. So I realized that all we're doing is running around in circles. We're chasing it after the fact. We're giving people resources that they need beforehand, too late. So instead of looking at post-traumatic stress as an individual thing, if we look at post-traumatic stress as what it truly is, trauma, then we can use all of the trauma resources to come at it from the beginning, to come at it when they're young, and to teach them all of the protective factors that we know to be valid, that we know to make a difference, if we teach it all at certain phases of development throughout their school education, we can get in front of post-traumatic stress. And some of the research statistics that have been coming out suggest people who have really strong resourcing capabilities, people who have coping skills, are 70% less likely to suffer from post-traumatic stress after a critical incident. So if we think population-wise, what that would mean to the numbers of people who are struggling now with post-traumatic stress, it would literally at least cut it in half.
That's amazing.
So,
yeah.
So we're going to implement some programming in minority schools right now, vulnerable schools in South Texas is what we're looking to do. We've applied for a research grant to be able to distribute our program to these schools for free. And if everything goes well and we get that grant, there will be 100 schools involved. So that's what we're hoping. Fingers crossed that the government thinks it's worth it.
Yep, absolutely. So speaking of money, because we know no nonprofit runs without money, what is it specifically that would help you drive more awareness, more presence in our communities, more ability to reach more people? What is it that you need?
Ooh,
Tell the people. Tell the people what you need.
We have a big wish list right now. We expected the needs of our organization to be less than $50,000 the first 3 years. But what we've realized is that the need is so much greater than what we ever imagined.
Yeah.
And my husband and I, there's 3 of us on the board currently, and we just are adding Michelle to our advisory board. So she's our first that we're trusting enough with our dream and our vision. We have our budget for the next 6 months is an additional $100,000 to do the things that we have out there that we want to do. We have a camp coming up in October that's going to cost us $30,000 to achieve, and we don't want our participants to have to pay for that at all.
Right.
So we are looking for corporate sponsors. We are looking for individual sponsors. We are looking for advisory board members who can be really passionate about what we're doing.
Right.
And contribute. And then all of the maintaining the website and keeping the free programs being distributed, we're expecting probably about another $70,000 before the end of the year to get organizations working with the programs that we have developed. So definitely those are our needs at the moment.
Absolutely. So if you're able to give, you can contact me. I can put you in touch with Krista. You can be named, you can be non-named, however you want to do it. But again, this is an organization that I feel very passionate about. I want to support anything that we can do to keep our veterans alive and on this planet for as long as they were meant to be here, and tell them that we remember, right? So, okay, talk about your podcast a little bit, because I think this is super exciting too. And you just got picked up. She going big, y'all, big. You know we like big things in Texas, so we like that she's going big. Yeah.
So every Monday and Thursday night at 7 Central, I have a podcast, and I do it absolutely live, uncensored, unfiltered, because I bring to you the stories of military and first responders who are struggling, who have experienced trauma, who have PTSD, who have been through addictions, who have been through divorces, and are now doing something to return something valuable to the community. Right. So every single story is someone who has turned it around to share with others and to help others get on their feet. So it's the Life on Fire podcast. It is available on just about every podcast thing you can think of. So we have a YouTube channel.
And we'll flash all those links too. Yeah, absolutely.
But we have just been picked up by Heroes Media Group, which is a channel just for folks doing what we're doing.
Yes.
So we're going to get a lot more exposure.
Yes.
And we're going to get a lot more guests who want to share their stories.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. And everybody has a story to tell, and people want to have people hear their stories, and they deserve that. They deserve to have their story told. So
it helps people know they're not alone
Exactly.
and that there is hope.
It's a community. I mean, you're building a community, and I just love this. So, y'all, anything that y'all can do to help support Krista and her organization, Battle to Be, even if it's just listening to her podcast to make sure she gets more exposure, we appreciate it. We appreciate you being here. I'm so excited to have been asked to be on the board. I think this is just such a special opportunity for me, and I'm so glad we met in our Jeep Society. Yes, Montgomery County Jeep Society, that's your shout out too. Okay, peace out, y'all. Why not?
So let's try to be loud in this video because there's a lot of sound around us.
Okay, well, you know I can be loud because I get told to shush all the time.
Alexa, pause. This is my store and I can say whatever the I want to. So how do you find your guests for your podcast?
No, they're coming other ones. They have other ones.
My social
They just
media,
show
they're
up?
all my social media